What is something you have always regretted doing? Being so codependent most of my life. Spending 13 years shooting heroin. That was pretty city. 3 years clean now though. Friend at school told me if I cut all my eyelashes off they would grow longer. They did not. Dental hygiene. Had braces as a teen and neglected my teeth for the 20 years after except for yearly cleanings. Too many Mountain Dews and too many days of, I'll just brush my teeth tomorrow. Turned into cavities and peeling enamel. You don't appreciate teeth not hurting until they are. When I was 10 and my sister was 7, I wanted to go play in the snow and none of my friends were out so I invited her to play with me. She was super excited but it was going to take her a while to get her snow clothes on and I was already dressed so I said I'd wait for her out front. While waiting, a friend came by an invitee to play and I went not even thinking twice about my little sister. I came home an hour or two later to find out that she went outside and looked for me for a while and came in broken-hearted because I wasn't there. I'm in my late 40s now and while she's never once brought this up, I think about it often and cringe and get pretty down about it. What a sit thing to do. I cannot imagine ever forgiving myself for it. Drinking. High blood pressure equals aneurysm. Taking out loans to go to a traditional 4-year university. If I knew then what I know now I would have just worked my way through community college and there's a good chance I'd be exactly in the same spot as I am now regarding my career. The biggest difference would be that I wouldn't be in debt till I die. Staying up late like RN and bullshitting myself that tomorrow I will sleep early like I said yesterday. Wasting my time on toxic friendships. Never again. I also regret not ending my first relationship when I first wanted to. After year 1 instead of year 8. I know this is a relatively small thing, but when I was around 10 and I was on public transport with my dad one time, he said he'd like to read to me. Like the little sit I was at the time. Not only did I focus on playing Lego Batman on my DS as he was reading to me, but I actually told him I was going to do that. The audacity. I've always been lucky that he was and still is the kind of guy who doesn't take that kind of stuff personally and was totally fine with this arrangement. But I just wish I gave his gesture anywhere near the respect it deserved. I rarely even looked at him as he read. Not doing internships in the summers during law school. Instead, I went straight through and graduated in 27 months. It was a mistake that limited my ability to get a job after graduation. Not listening to my doctor's warnings and not taking care of my diabetes from 15 to 25. Since March last year I have had an op to restore vision in my right eye, an op to do the same in my left, an op to reattach the retina in my left eye and currently waiting to have another in my right eye to restore vision and an op to remove the silicone oil that is currently holding the retina in my left eye in place. Was completely blind for 2 months and only now have a small amount of vision in my right eye. The left eye has just enough vision for me to walk around without hurting myself until the oil comes out. Listen to your doctor's kids. Sharing health issues or personal issues with workmates. Not taking care of my teeth when I was younger. Not protecting my hearing. I'm 52 and have had tinnitus for 20 years now. I should have worn earplugs when mowing the grass. Going to concerts or loud movies. I shouldn't have turned my Walkman up to 11. Quit a college program for a girl. Just stopped showing. It wrecked my grades and took forever to complete my degree after. Had a lump on my neck that ignored for a year. Ended up being stage 4 cancer. 13 years later and 4x battle. I'm still fighting. Edit. I love you all for the immense love you have showed for this stranger. I promise you that I'm okay and undergoing a immunotherapy that is easy as silk. I've been through hell but I'm here. Strong and defiant. Thanks to love from strangers like you. When I was in 8th grade, I saw my 6th grade brother walking down the hallway towards me and body slammed him as hard as I could into the wall. He limped away. Ducked into an empty classroom. And started crying. I wasn't a violent kid and was generally a pretty good big brother. Immediately afterwards I just felt so frocking bad and had no idea why I did it. We're really close now. And I still apologize for it 15+ years later. It honestly frocking haunts me that I did something so unnecessary and cruel to my own brother. When someone reaches out to you as a friend and you shut them down to avoid intimacy. I regret not doing a fuller investigation of career options before going to college or making the effort it would have taken to change course mid-career. I just retired from a career that was satisfying but probably not my best match. As a college senior, I was an advisor to this suite of freshmen. 3 of them played these stupid pranks on 2 of them for the entire school year. It started as jokes but it ended up just being harassment. Both of the harassed suite mates transferred the next year. I tried to reason with the 3 pranksters, harassers. But now, I regret not confronting them instead of trying to reason with them. At some point, if people are intentionally causing suffering, a harsh response is the correct response. I was just a dumb college 4th year but I wish I had had the insight to do more. I regret and don't regret this one. I was 13 at a theme park with my class. It was our last day of school, so we went to a big park to ride some rides, for no particular reason. Other than thinking I was funny. I kept telling kids in my class, "Don't die," as they would climb onto a roller coaster. Some kids looked scared, some laughed. Finally, a 20-something guy with his girlfriend also in line turned to me and shouted, "Kid, shut the frock up." His girlfriend quickly tried to calm him down and said, "He's just a kid." Boy, did he look pissed. For me, it was like I had been slapped out of a trance. I thought, holy shit, I am annoying? Best thing to ever happen to me, I think. But damn, do I cringe when I think about it. Not following my guts post high school and falling for family's pressure. Not take my brother's plea seriously before he killed himself on heroin. Edit. Thanks for all the support. I didn't expect to have so many people reach out. Drugs and drinking all day. About years 18 to 26 is all regret. I try to tell myself that if I hadn't lived those experiences, I wouldn't have met and married my husband, so going back to undo things if I could, would actually ruin the life I have now. Edit. I had no idea my post would resonate with so many. Thank you for the awards. Becoming a nicotine addict. Cigarettes almost killed me twice in 1 year. When I was 34. Not spending enough time with my grandma. She died young at 60 from alcoholism. Nervous laugh. People take you less seriously. Every single frocking decision I made between the ages of 16 to 19, except getting my dog, Frockin'. Love that dog. Never committing to a healthy relationship with food. Now I have snowballed a full-blown eating disorder and everything I eat makes me feel guilty. My favorite aunt got diagnosed with liver cancer. She was hospitalized for months, but I only visited a few times because it killed me seeing her so weak and full of tubes. I honestly thought she would recover, but she died on the operating table and I never got to say my goodbyes. I'll go to conferences or collections of study sessions or something, and I'll be like, I'm going to go to X. Then, when X comes along, someone will ask me, "So, you coming to X?" And I'll be like, "Sorry, but I'm busy," when I'm probably doing nothing. I always regret it. They're always really interesting sessions with people I would have wanted to meet and learn from. And what did I accomplish from not going? Nothing. Being too friendly with my neighbor. Now she won't respect our boundaries. I found her in my house one morning when I got out of bed and went down to the kitchen. She's always asking us to watch her kids, but not even asking us, just literally left her kid home alone and asked me if I could go watch her while she went to bring the other kid to school. I would have said no, but she just walked away and I wasn't about to leave a 2-year-old home alone. I guess she just assumed I would do it. We own. She owns. There's no way of putting an end to this without making things awkward. This may sound odd, but saying yes over and over again to everything my parents want. It's really hard for me now to say what I really want because I was always like, yeah sure mom and dad, I'll do that so you are happy. Instead of doing what made me happy. Edit. I know edits suck, but I feel less bad now. Thank you everyone. I guess we all need to go our own ways and sometimes say no. Giving a frock about what other people think. It caused so much damage and got me nowhere. Not being a better daughter to my mom before she passed away when I was 20 years old. I regret treating her badly and I feel guilt till this day. Regret not taking school more seriously and getting better grades. Regret not staying out of trouble. Regret not being smarter about money. Regret never living alone. Regret spending too much time with an ex and not enough time developing strong, healthy female friendships. I don't like to say regret, because I did learn from the experience, but I got kicked out of school and sent to jail for fighting. It was day 1 of the phlebotomy program. Staying in the waiting room while my kitty was euthanized. Edit. Thanks for all the kind words, and stories about your pets, and the awards. Sorry about bringing the onion ninjas to the party. Getting into debt. I can't see a way out. Edit. Wow, thank you for the love Reddit. Just put little one to bed and fell asleep for a few hours and woke up to 200+ notifications. I'll try to read them all. Edit 2. Appreciate all the advice so much. I've joined RYNAB and R Personal Finance. Due to my job I am unable to look at solutions like bankruptcy and an EVA. I will look at the other options suggested though. Thank you very much for reaching out to point me in the right direction. Sending a picture of myself in a bra to some dighead on the internet when I was 16. Getting my bachelor's in fine arts. I'm still paying for a degree I don't even use. Loyalty to an employer because you are expecting something that will never come. Once when I was 14, I was walking through my local park with some friends. This park had peacocks. As I was walking through with my friends, we spotted some peacocks with their babies. My friends started throwing oranges at them. They peer pressured me into joining them. I pick up a dirt clog because it was smaller and intentionally threw so I would miss. Instead, I hit a baby peacock and killed it. I just froze and the baby peacocks and the parent peacocks surrounded it. I began to feel remorse that God will not let me forget. I approached the peacocks and buried it while my friends simply went on with their lives. I'm 34 and that scene still plays in my head. Getting myself stuck into the job industry of retail. It's a dead end for a career and impossible to escape. Making my youth all about chasing fantasies. If you want a poetic sense of life, you get lies. Getting a biology degree kept me out of buying a house for 5 years. Not treating my anxiety issues in college may have actually made the rest of my life worse. Turning down a job on the 1996 film Trainspotting. Not following up and letting friendships die. Driving too fast. When I was younger, I took a turn too fast and got into an accident and killed 2 people. I struggled to live every day knowing the pain that my actions caused. When I was a child discovering the world in the garden, I figured it would be cool to find out what happens if you cut the eye stalks off a slug. Thought it would be a groundbreaking science experiment. Turned out to be a harsh lesson in empathy. There was a time when I did not know how to break up. Interpersonal relationships is hard. It's hard to start a relationship in particular. But the hardest thing is to exit a relationship as gracefully as you can. Sometimes you can't part gracefully. And you have to be able to accept that too. At age 7 or 8-ish, after my birthday was winding down, I asked one of my dad's friends if he got me anything for my birthday. I was thanking everyone and wanted to make sure I thanked him. He said no. I felt like an asshole for asking and putting him on the spot. At age 16 or 17, I was driving in the city market parking lot, getting ready to park, and I saw a shopping cart. I decided to push it with my car for a moment, then stop and see it roll on its own. I pushed it right into a parked car. My friends in the car were not enthused. Very embarrassing moment of me acting like a jackass. Started drinking. Emotionally scarring and traumatizing one of my siblings when we were much younger. I still haven't been able to muster the strength to bring it up and apologize all these years later. And it's rotted me out from the inside every single day, feeling cowardly, shameful, and horrified. Edit. Did not expect this to get any attention. I want to thank everyone for the solid advice and kind commiserations. I don't feel comfortable going into any details of it on here though. Sorry. I am going to do my best to get over my shame and fear and take the first steps to help start the healing process that has been so damn long overdue. My first real relationship. 10 years. Nothing to show but bad social skills. No friends. And self-worth issues. However, I've recently found my perfect someone because of these events. It's a regret, but not something I'd change. Just handle differently if I could. Taking so long to get my shit together. Had I done it before 22, I would have stayed in my home country and been in a much better position in every single imaginable way. Instead I put it off, flew halfway around the world still clinging to my parents like a child, and wasted 5 more years of my youth before I finally started doing what I needed to do. Now if I want to go back home, I'll have to give up everything I worked so hard for here and do it all over again, but instead of being an inexperienced 22-year-old, which in hindsight was barely noteworthy, I'll be a 30-year-old one. Better late than never. And it could be worse. I know. But frock, do I regret being such a frocking idiot. Hurting someone to get back at my family. I was young, dumb, and incredibly selfish. BC of it. Not going to college, university. This was in the 80s, when the news was full of stories of bedroom coders getting rich writing ZX Spectrum games. So after getting my 2E grade A levels, I decided to drop out of education and spend a year or 2 writing games. What I then did was spend 2 years playing video games, before finally getting a job in a garage. Eventually I got on the very bottom rung of IT, but it took me till my 40s to get to where I could have been in my 20s. It wouldn't even have cost anything. This was the days when uni was free. Stay in school, kids. Going to the reputable specialist dentist for my TMJ. To this day I still cannot bite together and have my teeth touch, but it's very expensive to undo his damage quickly. Rolling up my car windows that one time. Got home from work. It started raining. I ran out to roll up my car's windows. Slipped and fell. No big deal. Unbeknownst to me, I had just severely pinched both sciatic nerves. And there is nothing anyone can do fix it. Since I was 18, I am in pain all the time. I haven't slept for more than 6 hours at once in 22 years. I can't sit in one position for more than an hour or so. It sucks away all my motivation. Makes doing things I want to do impossible sometimes. It's shaped so many aspects of my life. I feel it has changed me as a person. I actually don't remember what it feels like to not be in pain. I'm not here to actually participate in this AskReddit, I just wanted to throw something out there from everything I've been reading. I've seen a lot of people's regrets here and I definitely have them too, but the funny thing is that some people have the regrets opposite of other regrets here, which makes me think that this whole experience life is all about how you see it and what you want. But because we're growing through it, we don't always know what we want even though we think we do. The morale here is that it sounds like regrets are unavoidable if not essential to life and growing, so unless you did something really bad, I think we should just hang back, realize we messed up and just enjoy the ride going forward. We can't dwell on things we couldn't see in the moment, it will eat us alive. Not realizing how much I was hurting someone that loved me. I miss her every day. Taking a certificate course instead of going to college for a degree. I had no idea how much trouble this would cause in my line of employment later on. If I could do it again, I'd have gone into business. Working so much in high school, I missed out on a lot of experiences with my friends. I can never get back. I did shrooms, which triggered a mental condition somewhere in between schizophrenia and OCD. I obsess over delusion now and it really sucks. I probably always had this condition, but shrooms really skyrocketed it. Happy birthday. You too. Looking in the mirror. It never reflects how good looking I actually am. Losing my virginity to my best friend. Neither of us were emotionally mature enough to realize that we loved each other platonically and hormones destroyed what was a beautiful and meaningful friendship. Staring directly at the sun when I was a kid. Guess who can't see now? Taking care of my ex-disabled girlfriend. I spent time, energy, and money for someone that didn't love or care about me. When she left, she took my car and my heart with her. I wish instead of moving from the east side to the west side I had moved in NY. I'm back on my feet now, but it was hell to get here. Not second-guessing the doctor whose actions caused the death of my daughter. Yes, in the end we were given justice. SMH. By the legal action we took. But that will never bring my daughter back. Trust your instincts. Getting pregnant. This will take some explaining. So there's this game I play in public places. It's called the Pat Johnson. Essentially, you go up to someone who looks nothing like you and tell them they look like Pat Johnson. When they ask who that is, you say, "I'm Pat Johnson." I did this to a random guy in a public bathroom, thinking I was only going to be in that town for a week. I eventually got a place here and became kind of friends with the guy the first spoke to. But he still thinks I'm called Pat Johnson. I have to pretend that's my name whenever I see him. When I was in high school, a kid who ran more with the popular crowd signed me and him up for a school-wide 2v2 basketball tournament. The idea of it was appealing, but I was scared of looking foolish. So I wore pants and shoes I could run around in, but then hid during the period it would be going on. I had this romantic comedy idea in my head that he should find me before I'd participate. Chickens it. I wish I'd just tried it out. Acted a fool for a bit. Going to a local college after school because I followed my friend who I thought knew better. I wasted 2 years and it still hurts. This was 35 years ago. Working my first job at Walmart. Christ, what a city company to work for. Going straight to college after high school. Chopping my hair. Haven't felt confident in the past 2 years while I wait for it to grow back. Doing college. Right. I focused on my studies and classes and utterly ignored the social aspect and getting to know yourself parts of the college experience. So I came out of college with great grades, but no friends and no better understanding of who I was than I had in high school. Not much. Turns out, it's a hell of a lot harder to fix that after college. Kind of missed that train. And while I've had plenty of people tell me that, I didn't miss anything. I've got a very strong sense of regret that will probably stay with me for life. Cutting my hair. I am a dude. Back in high school I always had long hair. When I was 19 my sister kept talking about how bad it looked and suggested I get a haircut with her favorite hairdresser. She made an appointment and drove me to the place. I got my haircut super short. I regretted it instantly. Everybody told me I looked better, but I didn't care. Mid-20s I started losing my hair. Now I shave my head as I am balding. I always regretted caving in to peer pressure to cut my hair. I still yearn for the days when I had long hair. Sometimes I even have dreams about it. When I was a kid I was more interested in playing video games than spending time with my dog. When he died I was deployed overseas and didn't even get to say goodbye to him. I will always wish I was as good to him as he was to me. Self-harm. Sure, each scar tells a story, but I can tell when people look at them. Choosing my career over living life and prioritizing health. I'm now 37. Single. No kids. Diagnosed with a chronic illness. Probably manifested due from constant work-related stress, pressure, and living with my parents. All of my friends have abandoned me, and I'm completely alone. At this age, I always thought I'd be married with children. Every day I think, if I focused more on taking care of myself and my relationships, Instead of giving every ounce of energy I had to make it big in NYC, and be successful. Getting married. I was 23. High school sweethearts. Together for 7 years. Made it through long-distance colleges. I fell for the social pressure of, that's what you're supposed to do. Graduate high school. Get a job. Get engaged. Buy a house. Get a dog. Get married. Have babies. I knew I felt weird about getting married. Told people but they always said, it's normal. Just cold feet. Sucks to be married and divorced by 30. Thankfully I'm not tied to the loser by having children with him. Then again, if I wouldn't have gone through that, would I be where I am now and so much happier with myself or the person I'm with? Catching feelings for an online friend who lives on the opposite side of the country. I regret never getting a roommate after high school. My controlling mother made me. A tiny female. Afraid if roommates. A female roommate may bring a random guy home that smokes and does drugs. They may take all your food and steal your stuff. My life would have been completely different had I just gotten roommate to share bills, learned independence, and to not be scared of life. I was borrowing my mother's laptop and she'd occasionally get emails, notifications. But one stood out. It said something along the lines of, I know you watch adult content, but if you don't give me money, I'll hack you and that'll be the only thing on the screen. Let's just say I was 11 and it was true. I did watch adult content. I definitely didn't want that because it wasn't my device. So I decided to tell my mom. After a few days in fear of the whole screen being covered in porn, nothing happened. I was partially relieved, but immediately regretted ratting myself out. I still do. Easy one for me. When I was 9 I got lost near a large mall near a road that was thundering with rush hour traffic. There was a pedestrian underpass under the road and I heard a woman screaming and a guy yelling, "Shut up, shut up." I was 9 in a new country and I didn't know what to do. I wanted to stop a car but they were all racing by at 80 kilometers per hour and it was scary. I was far away from the mall. In retrospect she was probably getting raped and if I had have just yelled into the end of the tunnel he probably would have ran. But I was just a kid and didn't know what to do and was already lost. So I've always regretted leaving and not knowing what to do to help. I don't beat myself up about it but it still makes me feel bad. Not pulling out when I was crushing the stock market. Made 6K go to 60K with a few good gambles and research of the span of a year. Put a majority of it into a massive gamble and it didn't pay off. With my remaining money I tried to get my way back up there but now I'm under 1K. I lost all the money I have been saving over the past few years and no longer have the ability to move back to my home state or go to college with my friends. Forever in regret for missing a golden opportunity to move in with my closest friends and go to school simply because I guess 60K wasn't enough for my greedy ass to want to pull out. Using heroin when I was younger. Thankfully I'm 6 years clean now. Not leaving after the first shove, slap, and punch. Joining Reddit. Losing my virginity because I was curious and everyone was doing it, rather than because I met someone I liked. My first real sexual experience feels more closely tied to my first orgasm, but still, I wish younger me hadn't rushed, or been exposed to, a lot of adult experiences.